Hey guys, Tom Barton from TomBartonSports.com here. We are here to talk about the myth that Yankee Stadium is actually a small ballpark and plays really well for hitters. Yeah, the myth, Chris Woodward. We're going to get into that and more. Also, I want to touch on a little bit of fun baseball history with you as well. As always, guys, if you do like the channel, please make sure that you subscribe and press the like button. Also, share it with your friends. If you want to contact me, it's at Tom Barton Sports over on Twitter, TomBartonSports.com or TomBartonSports@gmail.com. Could use all the help that I could get to make sure that this channel gets lifted up. All right, guys, look, let's get into it. This week, another person, this time an actual manager, ran with the myth that Yankee Stadium is a small ballpark. And I'm here to put that to absolute rest. Guys, it's just not true. Look, Chris Woodward, the Texas manager, came out and after a Gleyber Torres game-winning home run, he said, that's an easy out in 99% of ballparks. He just happened to hit it in a Little League ballpark. Now, he kind of walked that back and said he was sort of kidding, but no, that's really the consensus. Look, I live in New York, and for years I heard Met fans saying, oh, it's a Little League ballpark, it's a tiny ballpark. You hear it from Red Sox fans, you hear it from the haters. But for an actual manager to say this, it's ridiculous. Gleyber Torres had a 369-foot shot. It traveled at 106.5 miles per hour, and it would have been a home run in 26 of the 30 Major League parks in Major League Baseball. These are facts. These are facts. You can't really go there and not think that we're going to have people kind of come up with facts and figures to make you look like an idiot, Chris Woodward, and that's exactly what you look like. This is a Chris Woodward, oh, by the way, that had 62 plate appearances himself and never hit a home run at Yankee Stadium. He's also a guy that applied for the Yankee Stadium job. Didn't get it. Wow, I wonder if there's some sour grapes there. Okay. His team also was shut out the day after he made these comments. So his team couldn't hit. By the way, all weekend they couldn't hit. So you look at this and you just go, it's a ridiculous comment. But Aaron Boone kind of came out and he said, well, you can't basically, say it's 99%, and he did his math. And look, the reality is that he would have hit a home run in 96.7% of all ballparks. But this goes with the bigger conversation. The bigger conversation is that Yankee Stadium is a bandbox. Yankee Stadium is a Little League park, Chris Woodward. Yankee Stadium plays small. But if you do the deep dive and you do the numbers and you look at the reality of that, it's just a false comment, and it's been a false comment forever. Since they built the stadium, it's a false comment. Now, let me put this out there. Look, is there a short porch and right? Absolutely. It's the same dimensions for the new stadium as there were for the old stadium. Now, it is kind of interesting that the new stadium, although it has the exact same dimensions as the old Yankee Stadium, because you got new Yankee Stadium, old Yankee Stadium, basically on the same plot of land, and it's right across the street. Look, it's the same dimensions, still same short porch, but it actually plays a little bit better. We'll call it the house that Jeter built, right? The house that Jeter built actually plays shorter to that side of the field than anything else, and since 2009, it's opened up. Maybe that's wind factors or whatnot. But again, it's the short porch. I'm giving you the short porch. Just like there's a green monster that you can pepper balls off of in Boston. There are unique cavernous or not cavernous kind of stadiums. That's the beauty of Major League Baseball, is that not every stadium is exactly the same. Not every field surface is exactly the same. But to call Yankee Stadium an easier place to hit a home run is just disingenuous, and it's factually incorrect. So you go through the rankings that people have and the ballpark factors that we're looking at. I can take a look at since 2010. Now, the stadium opened in 2009, but I found the factors since 2010. Since 2010, the best places to hit home runs and the best scoring. Now, remember, the Yankees' offense is better than most, and the Yankees have two of the most elite home run hitters in the game in Stanton and Judge. That's got to be factored in. But in order to do that, we have to go back. And so I'm looking at one of the baseball numbers here, and this is a statistical analysis, a breakdown. Coors Field at 1.38 TPF. Coors Field, Miller Park, Comerica Park, Fenway Park, Great American Ballpark, Chase Field, Kauffman, Target Field, Rogers Center, Wrigley Field. That's the top 10. Citizens Bank, Minute Maid Park, U.S. Cellular Field, Oriole Park, Globe Life Park, Turner Field, Tropicana Field, Marlins Park. Yeah, there you go. Then Oakland, if you could believe that. Nationals are coming in next. AT&T Park, San Francisco, coming in next. Yankee Stadium. Yankee Stadium is actually the 9th hardest park to hit a home run at. 9th toughest ballpark. Whoa, okay. When you're talking about from 2013, 2014, you're talking about runs and hits, there was a little bit of a bolt up. But overall, Yankee Stadium is not a hitter's park. It's just not. You look at the 314 down the line, and let's be honest, it's not 314, right? I mean, people have done studies, and you look at the 314, it's like 310, 311, but whatever. Okay, it's 314 down the line. And the famous Derek Jeter home run with Jeffrey Mayer always comes to mind when you're talking about that right down the line. Sure, I get it, but that's one area. It does carve out very quickly. Now, it's not like the old Yankee Stadium, which the dimensions were absolutely ridiculous, right? The old Yankee Stadium dimensions, nearly 500 feet from home plate. They had a flagpole there, the monuments, the 3 monuments in the outfield you actually had to navigate around. Right? This is craziness to what we're thinking now. But Yankee Stadium is still a big ballpark once you get out of the short corners and the short porches. That's what it is. Look, you can try to bam and hit that ball right down the line, but more times than not, you're not going to be very successful in that. So we're going to have visuals of watching the New York Yankees hit these short porch home runs and hit these home runs where it barely clears the fence and they're fence scrapers. And in other ballparks, you got the outfielder standing underneath it. Sure, you're going to have some of those visuals. But the reality is the more statistical analysis that you do, and I know that David Cohn went deep into this as well, the more statistical analysis that you do, the more that you look at how the ball carries, where the ball travels, park factors, ERA, run scoring, doubles off the way. The more you do all that, all you consistently do is come out to be Yankee Stadium is a pretty neutral park. Depending on year by year, they're usually in that 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 range. That's where they are. Almost never are the New York Yankees in the top 10 best parks for hitters in baseball. Almost never. And you add into the fact, like I said, their offense is built to hit home runs. Their offense is built to generate runs. Yeah, then you add that in and you go, it's even more alarming that the New York Yankees are not scoring in their own ballpark. Well, like I would say to Chris Woodward, they don't switch fences, right? I mean, you have the same opportunity as anybody else. So let's put to bed the notion, I should say, that Yankee Stadium is a hitter's park. It's just not a hitter's park. There's no analysis that you can really come up with to say it's a hitter's park. You want to say it favors hitters? Yeah, there's a couple of years where it does. Does it favor pitchers? No, I'm not going to actually sit here and say that either. It's certainly not a pitcher's park. But certainly not a hitter's park. Again, it's very difficult to find a statistical analysis that'll tell you it's inside the top 10 in hitting or in pitching. They're in that middle ground. So can we stop at the Little League Park? People like Chris Woodward sound ridiculous. You sound moronic. And it came from Chris Woodward, okay, who's probably, I like that he walked it back right away because it's probably a situation where he was just a little angry at the Yankees and all of that. Okay, I get it. But you hear this among fans all the time, and it takes away from the greatness of a player being there or whatever the situation might be. A great home run. Oh, well, it would have been out in this ballpark. It takes away from the accomplishments, and it's just factually incorrect. That's number one. Then I wanted to bring up the idea that, look, I mentioned the old dimensions. So it got me thinking, what had the craziest dimensions? Yeah, I don't know if anybody has Major League Baseball The Show, the new Major League Baseball The Show 2022 with Ohtani on the cover. But you could go and play in different ballparks, and you could have home run derbies there, and they have the Polo Grounds. Well, the Polo Grounds are almost like Yankee Stadium, right? You have the short porches in history, but the longest center field ever. Now, go play Major League Baseball The Show. I'm not a huge video game guy, but I basically get 2 games a year. I get Madden in The Show every year. Go play Major League Baseball The Show. Go play that and go see if you can hit a home run during a game in those stadiums. It wasn't that easy. It really wasn't. So people that point to Melott, who, by the way, was like 5'10", 170 pounds or whatever, or 5'7", 170 pounds. He was a tiny guy. Well, he hit it to the sides. Oh, yeah, sure. But it's not the easiest thing to do. There's only 4 players to ever hit it to dead center at the Polo Grounds. Now, the Polo Grounds had huge. Hank Aaron was one, by the way. And they did it on back-to-back days where the wind was massively blowing out the days that Hank Aaron hit it out. but there's only 4 players ever. The Polo Grounds dimensions, 257 feet right down the line. 257. A lot of you guys are out there going, yeah, it's a Little League park. That's literally a Little League park, right? 257 feet down the line, 483 to center. Crosley Field, by the way, the left field was upwards of 15 degrees difference, but it's the Polo Grounds. I wanted to kind of have a little fun with it. 279 down one field, 258 or 257, 258 is down there. 447, boom, it jetted out, right? It was kind of built like this, if you could see, like this. And then it jetted out. 440 to the left side, 483 to dead center, and the upper deck overhung over right field. So you're talking about, 279 and 258. It was probably shorter because the field was here and the upper deck hung here, right? So it was even shorter. So yes, you want to call that a bandbox? Come on. Anybody can hit a home run there. Sure, but the Polo Grounds is generally considered one of the hardest places to get offense going because it jetted out so quickly. And you talk about, a guy like Babe Ruth. He hit 85 home runs in the Polo Grounds. There's 68 at Shibe Park, 60 at Navin Field. Melott hit 323 home runs at the Polo Grounds. Well, they designed their swings to be able to hit home runs at the Polo Grounds. It didn't mean that they couldn't hit him anywhere else, but they designed their swings to try to pull the ball, and you're going to try to pull the ball down the alley. This is the beauty of baseball. I'm not sure why it's being used as a negative. Look, 258 is kind of ridiculous, especially when you have the ports there. But very quickly, if you miss your exact shot, boom, you're hitting it to 470, 480, a ridiculous center field. So I'm not saying bring the Polo Grounds back here, guys. But nooks and crannies, differences in dimensions, that's what makes baseball stadiums great. I mean, it really does. And you start to think about the stadiums that we have nowadays, they are smaller. We're using a humidor. We're using, a tighter wound ball. They're at high altitudes in Colorado. You have all kinds of factors that you need to factor in, but it's the same for both teams. Not one team is playing on one field and another team is playing on a different field. That doesn't happen, guys, right? So everyone's got the same dimensions. Now, you play more of your home games there, of course, but you are able to do things with the dimensions of the field, and you're able to build your team that way. A smart GM is going to build his team with that in mind. Brian Cashman didn't have any lefties, even though he had a short porch until middle of last year. Well, Anthony Rizzo comes out, he's got 9 home runs in the first, 25 games this season. Okay, well, that's the short porch probably helping out. There's always that tale about Joe DiMaggio and Ted Williams. Imagine they switched ballparks because you had the left-handed hitting, with the short porch and Ted Williams. Well, what happens if he would have been in Yankee Stadium? What happened if Joe would have been able to pepper balls off? It's all baseball lore. But can we stop knocking stadiums for being small or being whatever you want to go out there and throw out there? If it's ridiculous like Colorado before the humidor, and you want to say that maybe Todd Helton's numbers were a little inflated, which I still don't even agree with, or if you want to say, Dante Bichette's numbers are a little inflated, or Larry Walker, who just made the Hall of Fame, because they got the Colorado boost. All right, look, that's an extreme difference. Great American Ballpark is almost an extreme difference. But when you sit back and you start talking about a factually incorrect conversation, like Yankee Stadium is a ballpark that is a Little League ballpark, you sound like an idiot, Chris Woodward. So I was here to set the record straight. By the way, anybody asking, why didn't Babe Ruth hit a home run to dead center in the Polo Grounds, although he had quite a few there? I don't have any answers for that. I think it's just kind of the way that his swing was. He did hit a 587-foot home run in Tampa, so we know he could have went out to dead center. He just didn't. Only 4 men ever accomplished that. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope I set the record straight for you, Chris Woodward, because I know you're watching. And if you are watching, anybody else that's watching also, please hit the like button below. Comment as well. Comment on your favorite stadium. What is the uniqueness of your favorite stadium? What is your stadium that you go to all the time, that you like the nooks and crannies or dislike the nooks and crannies? Let me know. Also, go check me out at TomBartonSports.com, over at Tom Barton Sports, over on Twitter as well. Have a very good day, everybody.